Okay. Good morning to you, Amanda.
Morning.
It is a pleasure to finally meet you, and thank you so much for squeezing us in your busy schedule. Um, just want to get to know you a little bit before the FFJ Summit.
Yes.
In Pretoria on the 20th of this month. It's actually in
Yes.
2 weeks' time. How
I
exciting
know, I'm
is
very
that?
excited.
Time flies, eh?
Yes. Yes.
So what is it that actually makes Amanda tick? What keeps you grounded and what keeps you motivated?
I think, well, thank you so much, firstly, for inviting me to the summit. I really, really look forward to it. And I really wake up every day with a great sense of purpose, and mine is about how can I use my story and just who I am and what I stand for. How can I use that as a platform for other people to transform their lives? Because if they can see real life role models and see real life people who have changed their lives or who have come from difficult and trying circumstances but somehow risen above that, if people can see that and see themselves in the story and want to try some of the things that I've done, then I know that I've done a good job. Does that keep me grounded? Absolutely. And I think also having come from where I've come from in terms of my own childhood circumstances, in terms of my own upbringing and fighting against those demons every day to actually stand for something and become something when you were told you would amount to nothing, is actually something that's very grounding. Because, looking back and reflecting on where I've come from is quite grounding for me.
And speaking of your background,
Yes.
how has, to quote you, being baked in pain influenced your leadership style?
Well, there's something very humane about somebody who has gone through struggles. It's almost as though I personally have made a decision a long time ago that my job as a leader, a friend, a mom, a partner, just a citizen is not to make anybody feel less worthy.
Nice.
My job is to make people roar like lions. It's to bring out that spirit inside of them that's lying there. So leaders either kill that spirit or
Yes.
they bring it out.
Yes.
And mine is to make sure that people know they're great just as they are, and they've got an environment through which, or an environment where they can thrive, a platform through which they can change their lives. And I think having experienced hardship myself, I know what it's like, and I never want to be the person that shows up not in a kind way, in a disrespectful manner. I just always want people to feel great when they've had an encounter with me and walk away knowing and feeling that, there's actually nothing I cannot do. So that is how I lead every single day.
Okay, so speaking of the different hats
Yes.
that you were, you just mentioned your mother,
Yes.
your wife, you still get time to mentor people.
Yes.
Do you believe in the concept of balance, and do you think you live a fairly balanced life?
I really believe that I can have it all.
Okay.
I have it all. Unapologetically so. Because, everybody in life decides what their priorities are. So we all decide. We have exactly the same as, the saying, we all have the same 8 hours or 24 hours, depending on how you look at a day. And I'm very clear about what is important to me. I am a mom, meaning I really want to be present in my children's lives. And when I was in corporate, I used to work 12-hour days, and I was barely present, even though when I was physically there, I was still, on my emails or on a call.
Yes.
Or, and I wasn't really present. So when I left corporate 5.5 years ago, I made the decision that I want to be present in my children's lives. But not just in their lives, also in my life, because when you don't have time to even reflect or even hear yourself think, you actually have very little room to plan for the future, or to even refine your own vision, or
Yes.
or just reflect on where you've come from.
Yeah.
So I believe in having a balanced life is a very overused term,
Yeah.
but it's an integrated life.
Yeah.
I
There's
love
trade-offs, obviously, in the process.
Of course, yeah. There's trade-offs that you won't see me just hanging about somewhere
Yeah.
talking Nothing. I can drink my own champagne at home. So I also grew over time to learn to say no.
Yes.
You know, because people want to pull you left, right, center, everywhere. But that's got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with what you bring to their
Yes,
table.
definitely.
So I'm very clear that I do not spend my time in anything that doesn't add value to my life and doesn't enhance my own purpose in life. So of course you can have it all, you know, and remember our children are looking at us.
Yeah.
They come to my office and they see Mama in the boardroom or how Mama interacts with, you know, the people she works with. We talk about financial statements, we discuss our results, we discuss our forecasts, and they start to understand that, you know, this is their reality. And that's what I want them to grow up with, that you can be a great mom or great wife or partner or whatever you want to be and still have children. You can also choose not to, you know, that's also okay. And yeah, I have a very balanced life. I give a lot to myself too.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yes.
To feed the soul. Otherwise, you'll
Yeah.
have nothing to give.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Speaking of corporate,
Yes.
what was it like, or still like, being a leader in more of a tech and innovative space, which is male dominated?
Yes,
What are the
yes.
challenges, and how do you navigate around them?
You know, my outlook on life is very simple. I don't see challenges. As a result, when people constantly say things like, I'm a minority, I'm a this,
Yeah.
I'm a this,
Mm.
I'm always like, okay, let me think about that. Yeah, of course it's there, it's a
Yeah,
reality.
it's a reality.
You can't dispute that. But there's great opportunity in that though, you know? And I look at it as, if I am the first woman or even young black woman at a 100 billion asset property company, and I am the one that is at that board meeting or at that board table, I like that, because then I can open up the door for other people to come in, you know.
Yes.
So you can't win a war that you're not taking part in. I always say that,
Definitely.
you know. So being a first or one of the first in anything is never a bad idea. It's a great start, in fact, because then it's up to you to make sure that that narrative doesn't continue. So it's pretty much how I've looked at my whole life. Hurdles are there to be climbed over, jumped over, crawled over, do what you need to do, but understand the opportunity that lies in all of that. There's great opportunity in that. So I also do. I'm a vigorous recruiter of people into the industry, you know. But I'm also I selfishly recruit them into project management, because I really believe that if you've learned project management skills, you can succeed anyway, because project management is about delivering through people. You get to learn leadership at its core or at its basic, which is delivering through people. Project managers don't do the job, they lead people in getting the job done. So you know, for mine is to recruit them into a career in project management, which means you can then branch out into whatever. Most of these kids have studied engineering, have studied information systems, have studied BCom, you name it.
Yes.
So it's a great launching pad in a way. So yeah, being a minority in anything is not a bad thing. You just have to make the decision to then change it.
Wow. To have such a positive outlook in life, you must have had a number of leaders and people that influenced your journey into leadership. Who's the one person or the one book or the one thing that stands out that influenced your leadership?
You know, I get that question quite a lot. And having had a really difficult childhood, I wouldn't say the adults around me were any of that, or any role models, or, you know, people I looked up to in any shape or form. I did have an aunt who was very kind, you know, so that kindness factor, and she was probably the only ray of light in a very dark space for me, in a dark place for me. But in terms of, you know, leadership and showing up and growing into that, that's something I've had to learn. And learning here, whilst we learn by observing others, but I think the greatest place to start learning anything is inside yourself. You know, it's to look at what is sitting inside of you, and how is it how is it showing up every single day? So, I used to read a lot of books, and I still read every now and then, but so I know those things that have kind of dropped in the priority list.
No.
But I read a lot of, it might not be a book, it might be an insight piece or an article, or whatever I can consume in the time that I have, I read. And then I'm always looking at, how do I constantly show up every single day as Amanda, the person, the human being, and rally people around a common vision, a common goal, without coming across as though I'm the one that knows it all.
Yes,
So I think that sometimes people make the mistake of thinking you must have role models, you must have people that mentor you, that tell you and guide you and show your hand, hold your hand. No, you probably are your biggest mentor yourself. You just need to understand what drives you and how you show up every day, how all of that's sitting inside of you is showing up every day, and learn how to become a great leader, So
it is amazing.
I am my own goal. I've always wanted to say that.
Hashtag. Okay, so I would be doing us as a financial services company a disjustice if I don't ask this question.
Yes.
So as a leader in tech and an innovator, what advice would you give us as a financial services company when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution? Because this seems to be the buzzword. So it's either we get on board or we actually left behind. So what advice would you give us?
No, all of us have to get on board. It doesn't matter what industry. For IRR is affectionately known. It's not really. I think people remember, with every era there has to be a buzzword that people can hang on to. But all it is that technological advances have been here. They continue to be here. And in some shape or form, they become the differentiator. Because in financial services industry or financial services organizations, there's very little competitive advantage these days.
Yeah,
it's not, a product is a product is a product, exactly. And you can only hang on so many things to that product. Yeah. So it's how do you harness the power of technology to change people's lives? Because at the end of the day, if you can't do that, nobody's going to be buying what you're offering. And I think that the true gift is in solving real socioeconomic problems. And that's where we really should be looking to for IR for, is how do we use our standing as corporate citizens to make sure that we deliver these services to the places, to the remotest of places, through some shape or form. 4IR is really about, artificial intelligence, about machine learning, about how can we continuously improve things. But the misconception is that it's going to replace people's jobs, is that, people are losing jobs because of, no, it's how do we integrate it into everyday life such that it's no longer this big scary thing that's going to take over our jobs. So I think it's being a responsible corporate citizen to see how you can use that to better people's lives in your normal course of business.
Okay. And what advice would you give an aspiring leader like myself, a young female black in the financial services? What advice would you give me?
Go for it. Just do it. I always say, because I mentor a lot of upcoming leaders, be it corporate or in business. I say that the problem is that we overthink ourselves into a freeze point where you actually do not act. You see a role that you really are quite keen on in your workspace, or you really think, oh my gosh, that's really where I want to see myself. But you want to sit there first and overthink. And the problem with over planning and overthinking is that you then come up with all the reasons why you shouldn't, right? So I'm one of those people that are just build this aeroplane as you're flying it. Go for every single opportunity that you believe is going to make a difference in your life. But I think where people get stuck is the vision. So what is the vision? Because you can get a fabulous job, a fantastic opportunity, and you won't see it as that because it's not aligning to your vision, because you don't know what your vision is. Yeah. So I always say that if the vision is clear, then every single thing you're doing should be enabling that vision. So if you want to see yourself as this amazing leader in South Africa, you must ask yourself why. Why do I want to be that? Because you can be now, you probably are, but you don't even realize it. So I say to people, and there's, the young generation suffers from great competition, and then they say, it's weird to talk about young generation. I'm 41 and I feel like I'm ancient already. But it's
the
that
wisdom.
Thank you. It's that idea that, someone's success need not look at like your success. You might look at me and think, okay, wow, she's done it one, but actually that might not be your path. It's finding what is your path and going for every single opportunity. Don't be afraid. Learn. You'll fall. Yeah, of course. I think that's a guarantee. But rising is also guaranteed.
Power of the why.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And wow, God forbid you actually succeed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Coming into our economy,
Yes.
I know that things are not as great as we'd like them to be.
Yeah.
But as the optimist that you've come across, you've proven that you really are an optimistic person.
Yes.
What are the opportunities that you see in our country that you can tap into, as much as things are not so great economically?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges that we face, and I was at the South Africa Investment Conference yesterday. One of the greatest things that we face in our country is unemployment. And, I'm very passionate about youth unemployment because we were all, come 1994, we were all promised education is the key to success. And, you see how many people, young people, are sitting at home with degrees, with honors, with masters, and they're doing nothing with their lives. And for me, that is a tragedy. And it's something I'm incredibly passionate about. Probably also one of the reasons I left corporate is because I really wanted to be at the forefront of solving that problem, so creating jobs. And every single platform that I've got is about creating jobs, more jobs. And I take in graduates that sometimes don't have jobs for them, but I'll create the job for them. And I'm fortunate enough that some of them were able to then place at our different clients, and they just thrive. And for the last 5 years, my company is 6 years old. 5 years, I didn't take any dividends, no profits out. I just reinvested them into the business so that I create these jobs that we're not billing for as yet. But I think it's our responsibility. And if you have it as such a sluggish economy that is just not growing, it's not going anywhere, these problems are only going to get worse. So as an organization, we definitely need increased economic activity, because when the economy is thriving, everybody is thriving. There are jobs, there's spending, it's really an imperative.
There's less crime.
Exactly, because
it's ripple effect.
And that ripple effect is the one that worries me the most, because we end up with all these socioeconomic problems because of lack of jobs. And I think at the heart of it, though, is that if people are living under such conditions, then they've got no dignity. You may have been promised that your education is going to be the key to success. Maybe you were the first one to even get a tertiary qualification, or first one, and only one maybe in your family, and you were the hope, and suddenly, there's despondency creeping in. So I really, really pray that our economy starts to grow. Listen, I'm not a politician in any shape or form. I think we are in the right direction with the new government, but everything also needs time, takes time, and South Africans aren't the most patient people. So I really think that when we start having more economic activity, then even more jobs are created, not just through corporate jobs, but through entrepreneurship. But I actually think entrepreneurship is one of those great opportunities, even in a depressed economy, because you don't have to be a formal entrepreneur. You can just be an informal entrepreneur. Lots of us who grew up in townships, you saw gogos and aunties selling potatoes, tomatoes, just to look after their families. So why can't we just keep doing that? But for the informal sector to then graduate into a formal sector, we really need economic activity to tick up.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much once again for opening up your beautiful offices to us and giving us your precious time. We look forward to listening to more of your wisdom at the FFG Summit on the 20th of November in Pretoria.
Thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. I really look forward to it. I think it's going to be a real treat. I mean, the speakers are just amazing. So I look forward to also just receiving.
Thank you.
Thank you.